Hi, my name is Reed, and I am the head of academic support in the high school of St. Johnsbury Academy, Jeju. Right now, we're in the middle of IEP, ILP season. That stands for Individualized Education Plan or Individualized Learning Plan. In the United States, IEPs are very common, but they can be somewhat litigious and very complicated with connections to IDEA and 504 plans and other things of that nature. In international schools, the trend is for most schools to use what is called a ILP, an Individualized Learning Plan. Typically, these students are Tier 3 students within an MTSS system, multi-tiered systems of support. And I'm going to briefly talk to you about some what I believe to be good best practices for formulating an ILP. Typically, you have 3 times a year. You have 3 times a year where you have your ILP or your IEP. What you need to do is not have it at the very start of the school year in regards to the first day the student starts or the first week the student starts. You want to give a little bit of time for teachers to get to know the students, pick up on patterns, strengths, weaknesses, areas of improvement, and things of that nature. So when you put in a questionnaire for the teachers or you ask them about potential goals for that student, they're able to provide an informed opinion. So typically, especially in international schools, when our school year oftentimes start in August, unless you're in the Southern Hemisphere, then they start in January. But typically, the timing looks like this: September, October, January, February, and May, June. Those are the 3 times a year in where you set up these meetings. Now, the initial meeting is you set out what the goals are going to be for that first term or a quarter or trimester, however your school is set up. But what you want to have in your ILP, that's standard practice, you want to have maybe a little bit of background history about the student. You want to have the student perspective. You want to have the parent perspective. You want to have the causes of concern as to why that student is on an ILP. But additionally, it's very important to have something like a strengths profile, because the thing is, there are a lot of parents who have students who are on ILPs, and they often just hear a lot of negativity. There isn't a lot of positivity. You have students and parents who sometimes dread the upcoming ILP meeting. So if you have something positive to say in that ILP meeting about the student, saying, hey, this is what he or she or they do well, that's something that's often very much appreciated by parents. In addition to that, with the first ILP meeting, you'll say something along the lines of, start of the academic year. So you say, this is how the student has been doing thus far within the first 2 months of the academic school year, 2 to 3 months, right? And then you also have a plop, a present level of performance. So what are their grades so far in their classes? Now, this might look a little bit different if you are using standard-based grading. So keep in mind that that's a caveat, okay? Then you're gonna also have a miscellaneous or a possible health section. You can put all sorts of important notes in there, such as maybe a health condition that might affect the academic performance of the students, or whatever social, emotional learning issue that may be there. But when you're thinking about goals for the student, what you need to keep in mind is it should be a collaborative effort. It should not be something that the special education teacher, enhanced learning teacher, academic support, all sorts of different nomenclatures for the types of teachers that support these students. But it should be something that's collaborated between the student, the parents, and the school. Additionally, when you are putting together goals, it's best practice to put together SMART goals. So for example, if you have a student who has issues with executive functioning and they don't hand in things on time, you might say, let's call our student Bugs Bunny. Bugs will hand in 75% of his assignments, measured by whatever learning management system that you use for collecting assignments and things, such as PowerSchool or an electronic gradebook, as evidenced by Google Forms and other submitted types of systems that you may have, submission systems, and this will be something that'll be collected via a Google form, something of that nature. Then you have the accommodations for the student. Does the student need test accommodations? Do you have a situation in where the student is going to be receiving extra time, separate test location, things of that nature? You also put down what the school is able to do in terms of providing resources for the student. You put down various triggers. You put down who this student should go to if they are in need of help, whether it's social, emotionally, academically, and so forth and so forth. Lastly, somewhere on the attendance page, or it could be a separate page, you want to make sure that you have a space where the parent understands that these are the terms that are agreed upon between all parties. You have them sign there, but you should give them time to be able to review, because sometimes these meetings can be a whole lot. They can be quite a bit of stress. So what you want to do is you want to provide anywhere between 48 to 72 hours. And when I say that, I mean like business days, right? So if you have that meeting on a Friday, you want to give them until Tuesday, or if you have that meeting on Wednesday, you should give them until Friday. Whatever's best practice in terms of what your school thinks is best in terms of that time, you do. And of course, there are caveats, right? If you have a situation and where something comes to light that really should have been mentioned in the meeting or was just discovered, you go back and you change the IEP as needed. Well, I've probably been talking a little too long, but hopefully that'll help you all who are maybe new to SEN, special educational needs, or you are a parent or you're a teacher. So if you have any questions about how to put together an ILP or what should be in there, or maybe even having an advocate there. Maybe you're a parent and you don't understand the process and you want to have an idea of, well, who can I get to advocate for me? Please reach out to me. You can reach out to me on LinkedIn and other platforms. All right, bye for now.